best people, the best talk on High Impact 102.1 FM. Watimagbo.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Eighteenth day of December 2024, right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the newspaper review, where we get to analyze all of the stories that made front page in some of the dailies that we have with us today. Okay, something came out yesterday which I think is worth talking about. The National Bureau of Statistics came out with a very disturbing report, and this has to do with the kidnapping incidents that has been going on in Nigeria. And there was a 1 year report between January to November 2024 of ransom payments that have been made in kidnapping. There was so much about that report, but I just decided to talk about this one in particular. Ransom payments that has been made since this kidnapping incident between January to November 2024. And in Nigeria, it is said by the NBS report that we have paid 2.23 trillion naira in ransom. 2.23 trillion naira in ransom, and a breakdown of that ransom went to different zones in Nigeria, but I was still going to leave it to the rural and the urban part of Nigeria. That is, the rural part of Nigeria had 1.44 trillion naira in terms of ransom, while the urban part of Nigeria paid 794.46 billion naira in ransom. And this is huge money. We're talking 2.24 trillion naira. And it makes me wonder why the government has not done so much to put an end to this calamity, because it is what it is, a calamity. And some would say probably because this is big money sector right now at the moment. We're talking about 2.23 trillion naira in 11 months. Probably is this the reason why there is no much political will, to stop insecurity in the country? That's what some people are saying. Some are saying maybe we have big wigs in, in power that are making sure that these persons are safe, because this is huge money paid in ransom. 2.24 trillion naira in ransom. But I think what every average Nigerian has in mind is we need an end to insecurity. We need to go back to a time when the Yuletide season, like where we are at this point, when Nigerians can confidently say, hey, I'm going to take a night bus, or even the normal morning bus. Let's not even go back to the night bus issue, which most Nigerians are afraid of now. Although when we're children, we could use night buses as we want. But now, most Nigerians are afraid to travel back to their homes. Most Nigerians are scared to use the roads. Most Nigerians are scared to even go to next neighborhood places that are less than 1 hour, 2 hours, because everyone is scared of getting kidnapped. How will those ones who want to go back to the north from the west go back to the north? How will those ones who want to go back to the east from the west go back to the east, and vice versa? Yes, I do know people still, take the risk, but should it be a risk when you're walking in your own country? Should it be a risk for you to take vehicle from one state to another in Nigeria? Should it be a risk to just leave your house and go somewhere freely in Nigeria without fear of being kidnapped, without fear of being robbed, without fear of being assaulted, even by the police? Should it be a risk? Should everyday Nigerians be scared of going for journeys now? Because this seems like a huge sector, and the government seem not to want to do nothing about it, because hey, I know they are doing their best one way or the other, but if people can pay 2.24 trillion naira between January to November 2024, then certainly the best is not good enough. More really needs to be done. And this is how I welcome you to the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. You can always be a part of the conversation if you call us up on 0700 1021 1021, or if you text or WhatsApp us on 0907 224 5018. My name is Uche Okorie, and yes, I am not alone.
Yeah, my name is Toluwashe Akinomi. You are welcome to the newspaper review. We'll be taking you through the papers from now to 8 o'clock. I am so shocked about that particular number.
Huge numbers.
Really shocked. Trillions of nairas.
Not to forget that about 2.2 million Nigerians were kidnapped between May 2023 to April 2024, according to that same report by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics.
That is not a good image for a country.
Over 600,000 died.
Okay, you know what? There's still a lot of things that we are going to talk about. It is
a whole lot.
Quite
the papers is filled up this morning.
Honestly,
it really is.
Yeah. Do reach us. Okay, let us know what is happening at your place. Also, we'll be expecting your reactions. You can send us a text message or WhatsApp message. Let's go on a short break, and then when we're back, we'll dive quickly into it.
Are you a solo entrepreneur, startup team, or a seasoned professional looking for workspaces beyond the traditional office setting? High Impact Studios is the perfect place for you. Whether you're into the focus of a private or shared desk, the solitude of a personal corner, the exclusivity of a private office, or the collaboration in a conference room, we've got diverse plans designed around your preferences. So break free from the regular and elevate your work lifestyle by visiting High Impact Studios today. For inquiries, call 0706 393 5694 or 0813 428 2879. You can also send an email to info@highimpactstudios.com to reserve your space today.
Come on over to my place.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Yes, in case you are just joining us, well, the newspaper review is just getting started, and you can always be a part of the conversation. 0700 1021 1021 or 0907 But this number is strictly for WhatsApp and text message. But 0700 1021 1021 is for your calls. We're also live on YouTube at Impact 102.1 FM in case you want to watch us live right now. Hey, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notification button so you know whenever we are live right here in the studio. Live on Facebook at Impact Radio 102.1 FM. We are also on all your other social media handles. We're on X, FKA Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok at Impact 102.1 FM. So, hey, go be part of our family. That is Impact 102.1 FM. Moving straight to the Daily Trust this morning. The Daily Trust leads with this one. 614,937 Nigerians killed, 2.2 million abducted in 1 year. That's according to the NBS. It has 3 riders to that story. Says kidnappers raked in 2.2 trillion naira in ransom. Presidency, military, police silent. What FG should do, according to security experts. This story you find on page 4 of the Daily Trust this morning. The Daily Trust has a huge graphic image that gives detail of the kidnappings and all of that. So in case you want to go see all of the details, you need to go get the Daily Trust this morning for you to find out. And just like we were talking about it is alarming, and it is really, really sad. But let's just touch other stories that we have here, because I'm sure we're going to see this story on other papers, and probably when we are done with the papers, we can talk fully on this particular one, because it's the biggest story for today. Underneath that one, banks restrict multiple account holders to 20,000 naira withdrawal. Man, these rules keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming, man. Bank restricts multiple account holders to 20,000 naira withdrawal, and it's coming at a time where most Nigerians are complaining there's no cash. It's coming at a time where most Nigerians feel like, how come you're holding our cash? We keep putting our money in the bank, but we do not have access to it
when we want it,
whenever we want it. At a time where most Nigerians feel like, okay, this is the Yuletide season, I need to spend heavy, I need to do all of this. I get the point. I think we need to move cashless too. I do most of my payment through transfers too. I prefer doing that too. But since the charges keep coming on the transfers, it becomes like, man, it seems these people want us to go to the cashless policy because of the money they want to make out of us.
And cashless policy. In the world, there are different generations. It's not everyone who is going to like flow. I mean, think about someone who is like 75-year-old, maybe a mama or a papa.
Yeah, I get it.
And ATM and stuff like that. What if they don't have anyone to help them?
I do understand that, and and sometimes I don't even feel like that is not even the point of where my excuse even comes from, because I feel like there's some other 70s and 80s who can't do all of this.
Yeah, some, not all.
Just a few, a handful of them. My parents, they use transfers, and although I had to force them into doing all of that.
You see that?
Yeah, I needed to teach them, school them, and all of that. So I get all that point. But I'm even talking from the angle of the government and the banks itself. When you want to convince the people to go cashless, when you want to convince them, you do not bring all these huge levies on them when they are doing cashless. When you take 50 naira for EMTL, you take 25 naira for each transfers. When the deposit comes in, you're taking on that 25 naira.
Bank maintenance fee at the end of the month.
Bank maintenance fee, all these things. All these levies that are attached to it discourages the average Nigerian. So it's not even about doing the transfers for most of them. It's about the fact that those 10 naira, those 25 naira you're taking, most people do not have those money you're taking from them. You get me? So it's about most of those things. So you want to, make the people go cashless. It's okay. When it talks about generations, the generations will evolve. People will evolve. People will go. When it becomes a norm, it becomes a culture. we will be the grandparents in the next few years. You won't say we don't know how to do cashless because we're already involved in it already. So yes, we will evolve, but you need to make sure that the people want it. You need to make it easy for the people. You need to let the people buy into it completely before these levies will come, but let it be when the people completely buy into it. And it shouldn't be this much. It really shouldn't be this much. One transfer, one deposit into your account, something is going away. And you're sending, so imagine 10,000 comes in, it does not come in with complete 10,000, it becomes a reduced amount.
Exactly.
And you're about to send it, maybe you are about to send it to someone, you can't send everything, you need to reduce
Or
an
when,
amount.
or maybe you don't have any amount in your bank, you're like, please, if you had maybe like 50 now, 100 naira.
You get me? So that kind of stuff needs to come in, and the average Nigerian is looking at his 10,000 cash and nothing is leaving it, and he can pay with it, and there's no charges, there's nothing like that. You're making everybody want cash, but at the same time, you're still punishing everybody by there's no provision of cash. So what will the people do? It's just like this time it's not elephants fighting. I said this one time, elephants are dancing. They're dancing around, and the people are just suffering in different sectors. It's a jamboree for the elephants. There's a party up there for them, just for the average Nigerians to keep, bearing the brunt of all of this.
I mean, imagine making so much money and then you want to use it and
you can, like, you
available.
make the. I get tax and all of that. I get it. I really get it. But I think we need to be in a particular position economically. The people need to be in a particular position economically before they'll be able to do all of these things. They're not making any money. The economy is in shambles. The economy is poor. You need to understand that some of these things needs to be in place before other things will come. Yes, taxes will come. That is how it works in other societies that we hope to be like someday. But I don't think they started by making things way too hard for their people before it gets better. I don't think that's how it started. I think things need to get economically better first. Then when you're bringing in those taxes in, yes, the people will be able to afford it. But how many Nigerians can afford transporting themselves to work? How many Nigerians can afford healthy meals? How many Nigerians? The other day we heard over 64% of Nigerians are below poverty line. So how many Nigerians? Let's be honest with ourselves. Moving on to the papers, rest of the papers, we see this one underneath the bank story. Jigawa uncovers 6,348 ghost workers receiving 3.7 billion naira. The corruption in the system. And this is not only in Jigawa State. I tell you solemnly that if there's a huge audit that goes into workers in Nigeria in civil service, I think you will find a whole lot of ghost workers. Some are not even in the country anymore. They are outside the country. Their names are still there. They're still receiving alerts, and they will be there and be saying, Nigeria is a very bad country. Nigeria is this. But you're receiving our alerts while you're not working for Nigeria anymore. You didn't disclose that you're no longer working. You left. So many people. Some are not doing no job. They have other life that they're living, but they're collecting salaries from the civil service. So what moral justification do you have to say Nigeria is a bad country when you are part of the people making it the way it is at the moment? Because those salaries could be going to people who are actually doing the job. 6,348 ghost workers.
And even the organization's fault. I mean, you should have a way
A
whereby
huge scrutiny. There should be a
it
huge
should
scrutiny.
be maybe monthly or maybe yearly.
There should be verification.
Yes, exactly.
Technology needs to work, and I think this is why I am actually in support of the Cross River. Is it the Akwa Ibom State Governor now, Chris Uno,
Okay.
the Pastor Chris Uno, who said until he does all his verification process to know the actual workers he has in the civil service, is not going to increase the minimum wage. I think like he's not going to implement the minimum wage
Right.
until all those is done and he knows the actual workers he has on the system. There
Wow.
needs to be total scrutiny. Let's know who are those who work. Sign in, sign out. There should be some sort of, you need to tap in, sign, let your fingerprints go in. Then you got, if you want
At
to run,
least.
if you want to run out of the office, then come back at closing time, then to sign out. At least go through the stress. There should be some sort of scrutiny. We should know who are those actually working in the civil service and those not working in the civil service. It shouldn't be a free for all. The government shouldn't be just somewhere people come to just take money and run away. They need The government is a work service for the people. You're there to work for the people and not to enrich yourself. Things need to start getting better in this country. We need to start acting ourselves.
Like.
Anyways, CCT, don't undermine court process. Lawyers tell Tinubu. Page 4 is where you see that story. Why Sikorsky helicopter crashed in Port Harcourt? That's according to the NSIB P5. Page 5 is where you see that story. Underneath the nameplate of the Daily Trust this morning, Senate wants foreign currency use banned in Nigeria. We can overemphasize on this particular story. It has passed first reading, by the way. It was on the news this morning. And it is what it is. I see no reason. I'll talk about celebrities now, at least those ones I'm sure of. Allegedly, a number of celebrities, when you invite them for shows and events, they charge in dollars. And I'm like, this is Nigeria.
Interesting.
Why would you charge in dollars? You go to events and people want to, you go see people. There are some establishments in this country that pay salaries in dollars.
Wow.
And it shouldn't be so. This is Nigeria. It is Naira. If you want to pay them an equivalent of that in dollars, pay
That's
it in
fine.
Naira. It's
We
fine.
should be
No one is
Naira.
against that. Hey, I want my salary to be so high. But man, pay it in Naira. Why would you pay it in dollars? What reason do you have? We are in Nigeria.
Probably they feel like, you know what, it's still the same thing.
It's not. It's not. You can't go
Who said
to.
that it's still the same thing?
It's absolutely not. You can't go to the United States of America and pay someone in Naira. Even if it's the equivalent of that money. You have to pay in dollars. So
Because that is the currency that is being
we
used.
need to start, giving respect to our currency. We need to start. That is the reason why most of the time you see the exchange rate is so at that alarming rate, because now they are sourcing for FX. There's no FX because they want to make sure they use the pay. And once they're always sourcing, and we know the rules of economics, the higher the demand, and all of that. We know how these things work. So we need to curb all these things. You want to do something in Nigeria, you want to receive payments, we'll pay you in Naira. When you want to go do the exchange, wherever you want to go do it, it's going to still be in the same amount in dollars. You can go do that. You can go wherever, maybe it's your embassy, if they have that. Go do all of that where you're supposed to do that. But don't receive payments in Naira. And I think the Senate, this is the right step in the right direction. This is something that shouldn't even take way too long before they pass it. This is something that they should unanimously agree to and pass with immediate effect. But the question is, when it's passed, will there be actions taken to make sure this law is implemented, or is it just going to be a smoke screen for them to just hide? Because these politicians allegedly are the ones that are wrapping up these dollars. We remember a particular party during their, what was this called, national convention for hosting for presidential elections and all of that. We remember a particular party that was sharing dollars for their, what was it called, delegates. It was all over the news. It was rumored everywhere. So the politicians themselves, they are the ones that have access to all of these dollars. They're the one that have access to easily, connect to the banks and say, okay, give me this in dollars. They can easily do that. It's not the ordinary Nigerians. So when they are making the law, I hope they know they're making the law for themselves and they're ready, to make sure that that law is put to the, to be implemented. Not that they will feel they will be exempted and, keep doing whatever they like with dollars and expect everyday Nigerians to obey the law when they do not obey the law. So, hey, it has to be all round. Everybody needs to be answerable.
involved.
Everybody needs to be involved. We took $1 billion loan to support Dangote refinery. That's according to the NNPCL. $1 billion. You see why the FX is high again? $1 billion. Anyways, Reps probe non-delivery of tractors, harvesters in $754.2 million, 141.6 billion naira deal. Did you see those huge numbers?
You see, really,
Non-delivery.
You read this kind of thing and you say,
Honestly, non-delivery, that is 141.6 billion naira, might be unexplained. $754.2 million might go unexplained in that sector because
It's not possible.
the tractors and the
I
harvesters
mean-
were not delivered.
It's not possible. Somebody should be able to at least say something.
Someone is saying something, but are they going to do something about it? We always say something in Nigeria. There's always someone saying something. Are they going to do something? Now, that's the question. Well, that's the Daily Trust for this morning.
Interesting. These numbers that I see, they always just make me very, very hazy.
Honestly, man.
We move to the Punch newspaper. Front page says hardship, federal government, opposition clash over Tinubu's economic reforms. This story is on the big page 2. The writer here, PDP, LP, NNPP link president's reforms to worsening hardship. APC, government defend policies. Okay, so this is the first story on the Punch newspaper. Quite interesting. Get a copy so you can know what exactly is happening. Beside the nameplates, we find a story that's been going on for a while. Nnamdi Kanu's release may not end Southeast insecurity. This one is according to Soludo. You can find this on page 16. At the very top, Northern governors deploy vigilantes as Northwest tops 2.2 trillion naira ransom. This is what we've been talking about, especially early on in the morning. This one is on page 2. We find also going to page 23, Kaduna returns Abacha's family property seized by El Rufai. Again, Kaduna returns Abacha's family property seized by El Rufai. We go to page 16 and we find this interesting story. Senate proposes foreign currency ban for local transactions. We just talked about it. In fact, I even know of some restaurants, let me put it like that. I know of some restaurants actually that when you go there and they bring the, when you sit down,
The menu.
it is actually in dollars. There was one time I was trying to see where I could go and, I did some, and I saw some places had, Naira, and I saw $5, $20, and I was like, okay.
Oh, a mixture of Naira and dollars.
No, I mean, there are some restaurants that actually pay in Naira, but this particular one, they were strictly like dollars, $5, $20, and I'm like,
On the menu.
on the menu.
And maybe it's a typographical error.
It's not
Let's give it the benefit of the doubt.
It's not typographical error.
But I know, yes, I know.
It was
I
quite
know.
interesting. I was like, wow,
yeah.
okay. But yeah, as as we just recently talked about it, it is something that should be looked into. You can't go to China and then you see maybe their menu in dollars or something.
Naira.
No, it's going to be in their own. They're representing their own country. Away from that, we find a story on page 24. Nigeria, Ghana eye better relations as Tinubu hosts President-elect Mahama. That is that big story there on page 46. Crashed helicopter flying NNPC officials violated regulations. Crashed helicopter flying NNPC officials violated regulations. We have this one. This is according to the federal government. And we have more stories. Truck crushes pedestrian to death in Lagos. This one is sad. The site is quite gory. The details are on pages 4 and 5. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper for today, Oyo begins 80,000 naira minimum wage January. And this one is on page 14. So I'm guessing each state now has their own, policies put in place before they start rolling it out here and there. And we can see this one for Oyo State. And yep, that is all we have right here on the Punch newspaper.
And looking at the last paper for the day, which is the Guardian newspaper. 0700 1021 1021. That's the number for you to call. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0907 224 5018. The Guardian leads with the biggest story of all, Crime and Security Report 2024. It is on page 6. Nigerians pay 2.2 trillion naira in ransom in 51.9 million crime cases. Result to self-help. Nigerians pay 2.2 trillion naira in ransom in 51.9 million crime cases. Result to self-help. Page 6 is where you see that story, and I really like the way the Guardian put these headlines this morning, because at the end, it's the people helping themselves. There's so many cases. If you go to so many cases of those ones who got back to their family in one piece, those ones who were lucky enough not to lose their lives, you find out that they paid money. It wasn't like the security agencies who rescued them. It wasn't like maybe the security agencies or the Nigerian government provided the money to save them. They sourced for themselves. They did their best to, and it's funny that a whopping 1.14 trillion naira came out from the rural society. So it goes to show that the rural society were high targets, because there are really no security in those rural societies. And a whopping 1.14 trillion naira was what was spent by indigents or citizens in those rural communities. That goes a long way. That shows how
a very long way.
It shows how Nigerians have to do most things for themselves. We provide electricity for ourselves. If there's no power, most Nigerians
keep the business running.
Most Nigerians use generators and biofuels. Yeah. A lucky Nigerians like myself, we get to see power at least 18 to 20 hours a day sometimes, at least when the national grid decides not to dance around, or skip around, But how many Nigerians are that lucky? How many businesses are that lucky?
I mean, some people even have to go through the length of getting solar panels, which is
for
very
millions and millions
expensive.
of naira. If you have solar panels, I'm even looking at you like, oh, millions have been spent. In my head, it's like, this person's a millionaire.
And then it's sunny, is perfect. When it comes to rainy season, they'll go back to buying fuel
again. They have to go back to buying fuel, or when the weather decides to do. So it's the inconsistency. We have to provide all these things for ourselves. Security, we've been doing that for years, providing for ourselves. You go to most houses, they have a security man, not because they need someone opening the gates for them, but because they need someone, to protect them in case. And now Nigerians can use the road as free as possible to go to different states. If you want to travel now, some people have to fast and pray. Some people have to start, keeping some sort of money down in case. Some people now have so many emergency numbers. Travels that people do before, you could just wake up and be like, I have an emergency. I need to to be in Lagos tomorrow morning. You're taking a night bus from Onitsha. I need to be, that is when there was freedom. But now, Nigerians can't have all of that anymore. And Nigerians are spending so much just to survive, just for their daily activities, just to travel from here to there. Spending so much on fuel, spending so much, and so much that Nigerians are going through. And you wonder, have we not done enough? Have we not really tried? Do we ask for so much? Do we really ask for so much? Let's be honest. Nigerians don't ask for so much, just the basics. And yet, and I think that is our problem. That is why we are where we are today.
Because we don't ask.
Because we don't ask for so much. We just feel we can let's just leave them do their thing. We say, let's leave them for God. Let's do our own. Let God just.
I think it has also become like a routine. I mean, when people come out, they protest for something. It's like, okay, let's just.
But the question is,
let them do what they want to do, and then after a while, they'll.
At the point, because that is what it has always been. They know we only back, we don't bite, and they know we'll go back, will push us to the wall, open the hole in the wall, create a door we'll create the perfect door in the wall, go in, create more layers, put a flat in it, and they push us again. We open another wall, but someday we're going to fall in the ocean. We're going to fall. We keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. We need to understand that we need to start demanding for more, and we don't have to demand for more by being violent. It's not necessary. You don't have to be violent. You have to demand for more by being politically active. You have to demand for more by being politically responsible. You need to be active. You need to be politically active. You need to go to political parties. You need to go for elections. You need to be part of those ones. If you feel you're a good person that can run a country better, then be part of a political party. Contest for local government elections. Contest for councillorship seats. Be that change. Go be that position to do that thing that you think those people are not doing right. And once you can do that, then and only then can you get Nigeria to the place that it deserves to be. So it's not all about, protesting or fighting or all of that. There are other things we can do as Nigerians to get Nigeria to where we need it to be. Other stories on the Guardian newspaper this morning. Tinubu's wife doles out 1.9 billion naira to elderly and veterans. You find that story on page 3. Beside that one, INEC obeys Supreme Court judgment, restores Eze Okenwa as APGA chairman. INEC obeys Supreme Court judgment, restores Eze Okenwa as APGA chairman. Page 3 is where you see that one. Report indicts police military orders as prime antagonist of media in Nigeria. Page 6 is where you see that story. Those are people that should be working together. The media is supposedly, when we're in school, we're told that's the unofficial fourth arm of the government. That's what they keep telling us. We have the legislature, the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, and the media, which is unofficial. But I guess that's not what it is today. Underneath it, 40 million adults still excluded as financial inclusion hits 64%. Business page 16 is where you see that one. Edo Assembly suspends 18 council chairman, PDP kicks. You find that story on page 7. Uncertainty trails 20 billion naira consumer auto finance scheme. Business page 16 is where you see that story. How ICPC stopped diversion of 5.8 billion naira by MDAs, recovered 29.7 billion naira assets. You find that story on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper, Imo PDP flays Uzodinma over failure to secure promised foreign jobs for youth. This is a laughable story. It's a laughable story because I do not. When he made this campaign promise, when he said it, I was like, really? Like, your actual campaign promise is to provide foreign job for the youth of Imo State? Like, not to provide jobs in the country, but actually give them jobs outside the country? How do you intend to do that? Like, do you want to go establish a factory outside there, or do you want to, work in collaboration with their government? I do not understand how that was supposed to work.
How do you say that?
I really do not understand. Like, is he just like say what the people want to hear in campaign? Like, maybe, the youth will be like, oh my God, we'll vote for you. Well, because, he won the elections anyways. But I'm like, really? Should that be a campaign promise? Shouldn't you be saying you want to do things to make sure that Imo is livable, Imo is prosperous, the youth can work in Imo State and earn so much and live comfortably in Imo State? And even PDP coming to flay him on that particular campaign promise, like, for goodness sake, it's embarrassing that you people are even holding that campaign promise, holding it like it makes any sense. Like, you shouldn't even have. Those are things that you should have used in trying to attack his campaign. If I was a media strategist or something, because really, that's not really a good campaign promise. And I don't think the PDP, talking about it now makes any sense, man. This is a few years after elections, man. These are things that you should have used before elections was proper. But Anyways, that is it for the Guardian newspaper this morning. And that's the much we can take for the newspaper review right here on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM for the Wednesday edition. We still have 2 more days for the week, Thursday and Friday. We're definitely looking forward to all of those days, and we do hope you're looking forward to it as you, keep it a date with us on High Impact 102.1 FM. It is the Youth House season. You need to be listening to High Impact. We have so much goodies for you. So much freebies for you. 12 days of Christmas. I think that's something we're doing, yes?
We are.
Yeah, so much freebies for you. So you want to be part of it every single day right here on our Impact 102.1 FM. My name is Uche Okoria. We'll be back tomorrow. But until then, have yourself a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday.
Exactly. And that beautiful Wednesday is starting from now. We'll continue to the hours of 12 in the morning Impact Show. Do not go anywhere. We'll be here again tomorrow from 7 to 8 to give you every single thing that is happening in the country and around your area. So, hey, let's get on with how today is going. And also, do have yourself a lovely morning ahead. My name is T4 Toluwashe.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Start your day with Impact as we give you positive affirmations, traffic updates, entertainment, fun trivia, and many more on Morning Impact. From 6 a.m. to 12 noon every day on High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
And I know it's gonna be